Okay, so I use Chapman all the time simply because it's very obvious what he does. Okay, you don't have to be exactly like him, but understand the principles of what he's doing. Okay, so when you go into your lift, you turn away hard, and I think that comes from me. I like that, but you're gonna notice there's a big difference in what he's doing versus what you're doing. So as you go down, okay, out of this, you really haven't shifted that much in relation to what he has. Okay, you are, but you can be a little bit more aggressive, and I'm talking like an inch or two more of shifting your weight forward. So you're gonna be looking at this and going, dude, it looks exactly the same. So you have to trust me. He's just shifted a little bit better than you have by the time you peak your leg kick. Okay? Then watch him as he gets out of it. So I'm going to take you to the bottom of your hand swing and the bottom of his hand swing. Okay? We see quite a bit different positions between the two of you. Okay? I see two big things. You have gone very much down, and your left leg has kicked out from under you, okay? So if I draw a line, your glove side's hiding your hip, but that's pretty accurate line right there. And I draw a line down his front hip, okay? You're gonna see how much his front leg is behind him still, okay? The down thing might just be you, and that would be fine if your front leg wasn't coming out from under you too soon. So the problem is that your front leg is pulling you into extension. Your right leg is being pulled into extension versus a back leg that can drive, that can extend, that can push through your front leg coming out from under you. Okay, so the biggest difference we see is as his front leg comes out from under him, he has a ton of flexion. Well, so does yours, but he's going into foot strike then, where you have much more time until front foot strike happens. So by the time you stabilize, this is what's happening. By the time your front leg firms up, by the time his front leg firms up, this is the position that he's in. Okay, so we've talked about this forever. Ever since I've known you, we've talked about how much your chest opens up by the time your front foot hits the ground. Okay, and the reason that causes an issue is because your arm lacks time. Okay, so when your arm is laying back into external rotation, it is to the side of you. Okay, you can see that his is behind him. So by the time you start going into internal rotation, which is right here, okay, your hand starts whipping forward, your elbow's in front of your face. We don't want that to happen. As your elbow starts coming across your face, you want to be going into internal rotation. This is how we want our arm to work. Now, the fact that you've gotten bigger, the fact that you've gotten stronger, this has gotten better. But you can still see, okay, that the ball is coming out of your hand before you fully internally rotate, which would be right there. After you fully internally rotate with your arm, your hand goes into pronation. So I'm going to see your thumb come down here. He's doing this when the ball's in his hand. So I can already see his thumb turning down much closer to ball release. Okay, so the high velocity thrower can pronate through the baseball because they're doing these things with the ball in their hand. Their arm moves faster, they cover more distance, they have more forward trunk tilt. There is simply more time with the arm that's moving through these positions faster, and that allows us to be going through the baseball a lot better. Okay, so I made a comment earlier today about how Coach Leitenberg and I talk about things differently. You'll hear him talk about getting through the baseball, not cutting the ball, or unless you're intentionally cutting the ball, about staying behind the ball with your hand. Okay? If you understood me correctly, I just described this as a reaction. So I'm much more worried about how we get into our kick and how we get out of our kick to the bottom of our arm swing. Okay, we need to copy the movements that we see early, the patterns that we see early in the movements in the stride, okay? So we can give ourselves a chance to have some of the reactions that happen with high velocity throwers once we come into foot strike. So I don't want to talk about what these things are doing right now because we need to focus on the actions into and out of the leg kick. Okay, so you have this video for as long as you want to watch it. You can watch it as many times as you want, but I think your front leg really gets ahead of itself. Okay, there's two ways to think about this. I need to move more by the time my front leg comes out from under me. Okay, so I could, instead of going down here, I could focus on moving out. Or I can find a way where this leg, instead of kicking out here, this leg kick would copy something more that's down and back. So his front knee is going down before it goes out, where your front knee goes down, but then it kicks out. So you're extending out. If you want to look at somebody else doing more of an extending front leg, you can look at Tim Lincecum or you can look at Yu Darvish if you look them up on YouTube. So I'm going to leave it at that for now.